guys, it's Tarot with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot, and today is day 21 of Ephanie's 31 Days of Tarot. Okay, so the prompt for today is, do you use guidebooks or the little white books that come along with your tarot and oracle decks? And if you do, what do you do when the information that is provided within the book doesn't jibe with the information that you're getting intuitively from the cards? Okay, so first of all, let me pull out a few of my little white books slash guidebooks. Okay, so first little white book, I decided to take that literally, and I got my mini little white book. So here's a little white booklet, here's a regular size white booklet, and here we have a nice guidebook. Okay, so no matter what comes with my tarot deck, whether it's, this little teeny, guidebook or little white book, we should say, or whatever color book it is, whether it's this or whether it's something like this, I always make sure that I take at least a look at it. I don't just grab the cards and then toss everything to the side, because for some reason I find that to be kind of disrespectful to the creator of the oracle deck or the tarot deck or whatever it may be. So I always at least take a look at it. Sometimes the little white booklets will have some pretty good information from the artist and or creator of the deck, and so they may have some keywords that I hadn't thought of before. They may have some information about the symbolism that was used or the colors that were used or why they decided to do a certain motif or whatever it may be. So sometimes there might be some pretty interesting information, so I always make sure to take a look. Now something like this, which is really in-depth, just because it's big and beautiful and glossy doesn't always mean it's a good guidebook. This one happens to be a really good one. It's well written. Again, I'm always going to take a look. Okay, having said all that, when it comes to tarot readings, however, I'm not one to do a reading and then quickly consult the guidebook to make sure I'm right or something like that. I always go off of my intuition, and so maybe only if I'm stumped, and usually the only time I can get blocked or stumped is if I'm doing a reading for myself, because sometimes yourself gets in the way of yourself, and so it's a lot harder for you to read for yourself than it is for other people. And so in that case, maybe I'll pull out the guidebook and maybe I'll just look up a couple of things and be like, okay, just something to get the intuitive juices flowing, and then everything should be copacetic after that. But yeah, as far as using the guidebooks for readings, I do not, if I'm reading a card a certain way and it's not the way it's written, what the message that I'm getting is not the message that, let's say, it would be in here, I 100% of the time will always go with my intuition, because I always feel that wherever that message is coming from a really sacred space, or a sacred place. So I always go with my intuition, regardless of what the guidebook says. Now, for oracle decks are a little bit different. Sometimes I struggle with certain creators of certain decks. Sometimes the keywords that they use or the imagery just is a little bit harder for my intuition to come through. In that case, I may consult the guidebook. Not 100% of the time, but sometimes. Just for an example of authors, Denise Lynn's Native Spirit Oracle deck, just because I don't have a lot of background knowledge in Native American culture, I find the guidebook in here to be really interesting, plus some of the images and things, I could read them without the guidebook basically, but I want to get more out of the cards. I want that background. I want to read some of the cool things that would be related to Native American culture, and I want to be able to do that. So let's say a deck like this, or I sometimes often struggle with Alana Fairchild's decks. So even though I find them beautiful, and if I decided I wasn't going to use the guidebook at all, of course I could get something intuitive, but I really feel that the guidebook offers so much more. So I definitely, especially with Alana Fairchild, will consult the guidebook maybe half of the time to maybe get a little bit more information. Lucy Cavendish, I don't have to consult the guidebook, but just for this particular deck, because it's on fairy tales, I may not know every single fairy tale that's in this deck. So, you know, I will definitely kind of read up on that fairy tale. Plus, it's a story. Who doesn't like a nice fairy tale? And the last one out of, like, let's say my whole collection that I might have to really consult the guidebook would be the Crystal Wisdom Oracle by Judy Hall. So she has a picture of a stone, has the name of the stone, and that's it. But her guidebook has it broken down into the elements and, you know, meditations and things you can do. So I find this, maybe I wouldn't use it for client readings, but more for some self-discovery. So there you go. So there you go. So that's my answer. So it kind of really depends. Usually for tarot decks, I'm not, you know, going to consult the guidebook. That doesn't mean I don't give it a look-see once I get a deck. With my Oracle decks, there are a few that I may consult the guidebooks a little bit more just to get a little bit more background information. So let me know what your answers are. I'm having an awesome time watching everybody's videos in this like 31 days of tarot. So this is great. All right, so that's it. I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 22. And I'm so excited because it's not pouring rain right now. So I get to use the natural light coming in through the window. So it's, you know, rained a little bit this morning, but still nice and sunny. And tomorrow it's going to be pouring. But for right now, it's nice. All right, catch you guys later. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out.